During this video, we will be discussing the SNAP application. SNAP is a food assistance program. It stands for the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. It's formerly known as food stamps. We don't refer to it as food stamps because we found that there's a bit of a stigma with the term food stamps, but sometimes clients will refer to it as food stamps, and from that point on, you can refer to it just for their own understanding. When clients receive SNAP benefits, they get a card with an American flag on it that they use at the grocery store. So if a client already has a card with an American flag on it, you know they already have SNAP benefits, even if they don't know that that's what it's called. When individuals receive SNAP, they are also eligible for a program called Lifeline, which is a discount for their telephone service, and they can call their telephone provider and set that up. So that's something we usually tell people while we're assisting them with the application. Let's go over the SNAP application. You'll notice right up here on the top it says telephone interview requested. We've added that to all our copies of our application so that individuals don't have to go down to the DCBS office. They can complete their interview over the phone. You'll note with this application that there are a lot of words. So it's important for you to read through this and get comfortable with it, but you certainly will read through that as you are more comfortable in assisting clients. So the bottom of this first page discusses their name, date of birth, mailing address, county residence, telephone number. You have to check whether it's their phone number or a nearby phone number. And if their street address is different from their mailing address, you write it here. At the bottom of this first page is a signature box. They must sign this first page or it will not be processed at the CBS office. So be sure that they sign that. Again, if they sign with an X or a marked openness, must sign. Otherwise, their own signature will suffice. And then you date it. Moving on to the second page, you'll notice at the top of the second page and every subsequent page, you must fill out their name and social security number. It's kind of tedious, but I guess they've had issues, I don't know. So that is a new addition that they've made, so be sure to keep an eye on that. This first question is at the top of the page. We've already filled out to request a telephone interview. If they have any other special accommodations, be sure to add that afterwards. The second is about translation services or interpretation services. If they need an interpreter, be sure to note that. Next bit is information about the benefit. And then if they choose to have a representative, that information goes here in this box. And then moving on to page 3, again, name and social security number. And this section is about their household. So you can see the following people who must be in one household. Typical what you would think there's his own food. And so in that situation, he'd be a household of 1 because he buys his food and prepares it by himself. So given that, you will fill out the SNAP household members in this chart here. You'll note whether you want to apply for them in this leftmost column, the social security numbers, relationship to the applicant, birthday, sex, ethnicity, race, which you can see the codes are up here for that, and whether the individual is a citizen or not. Page 4 starts with some questions that are difficult to ask, but go ahead and just explain that, these are some awkward questions, but I'm going to go ahead and ask. You'll need to ask them all these questions, and sometimes people aren't sure what you mean by fleeing felon, so you can ask them if they're running from the law or something like that, if that helps get them to understand what you're asking. Is about the household expenses, and this is really important to make sure that you don't shortchange them on their expenses, and listed here and has some kind of documentation with the application. So you would put down their household share of the following expenses. If they have taxes or insurance separate from their mortgage, you put that down here. Check any utility bills that they have to pay. If they get cable or internet, check that as other and include it there. If they have to pay for heating or air conditioning as their utility bills, you check that. If they get energy assistance, which is LIHEAP in the past year, you would check that. That's through the community action agencies, and typically they understand, or they know that if they've gotten that assistance in the past year. Medical expenses takes a little bit of time to calculate. If they are paying for their Part B premium, start with that. So always make sure you include that. Any other premiums, if they've got drug plan premium, if they have a supplement and that has a premium, include that. Their copays at the doctor, if they have regular doctor visits, you can take that, and you need to come up with a monthly figure, but if they go over 3 months, you can divide by 3. Their medicine copays, sometimes they may have to call their pharmacy to determine that. If they have significant or notable transportation costs, if they have to drive out of town to go to the doctor, you can use the IRS rate for mileage and calculate that to include that. Note that it is only for people who are disabled or over age 59, so those are the people who you would include the medical expenses for. Daycare and child support expenses, note that daycare applies for child, or if somebody attends an adult daycare center and lives with them, it's also included here. Page 5, if they're getting assistance paying their expenses, they need to note that. And then here is information about their income. This is another situation where if they are not receiving it, make sure to mark it out, put NA, put a dash, put something. And you can see the different categories of the income sources. So Social Security would include retirement or disability, and SSI is also included in this category. And so you put the who gets the money and the amount per month. Again, gross amount, so amount before any deductions. At the bottom of this page, or this bottom part of this page, is, are these questions that you need to ask them. And then finally, there are questions about resources. So they have cash, all their bank account balances combined, stocks, bonds, etc. So then moving on, again, this page is actually just words, but you still need to put the name and Social Security number at the top. And they would need to read through the rules. Again, name and Social Security number, and then here's their signature and understanding. You see what they are certifying, and they need to sign there and date. So this requires the signing on the front page and the signing on the second to last page. The last page is an optional page, an optional release of information. Again, it does need the name and Social Security number. They can choose whether they release this information. It's basically, you can read the information, but it's basically so that they do not have to get a signature every time they need more information. They will still ask for the information. They will still tell them that information, but they may be able to obtain it without the individual signature for a specific request. So that's here. Again, optional, but they can sign it. So that's the end of the SNAP application. And as with all the other applications, we have an instruction sheet for them. So you complete the date at the top, emphasize that they have to complete the application and review it, and sign where flagged, or complete the sections that are flagged. The DCBS office information goes here, address, phone number, and fax if you'd like. Then there are copies of their supporting documents, and we've put a pretty extensive list because, as I mentioned before, if you don't have proof of it, they will assume that you do not want this exemption. And the exemptions help them qualify for one and or get a higher amount awarded to them. So the exemptions are very important to document. Again, you can get this instruction sheet from us along with the application. So it gives them the estimation that it should be 30 days to process, but emergency applications should be processed within 7 days. More information about situations that are emergency applications are on the SNAP application. And then we ask that they call us back so we can make sure they're receiving the appropriate benefits. If they call back and inform us that they're awarded SNAP and we haven't discussed the Lifeline telephone discount with them, we can do it at that time. And then on the back of the instruction sheet is the receipt. So it's for the employee of the DCBS to complete and indicate what has been submitted. And so that way, too, at the end of the submission process, the client knows if they have anything that they need to submit rather than waiting for a request for information to come in the mail that could get lost. So they know that day what they need to bring back to the office. And then this should be kept by the individual submitting the application. So that's it for the SNAP application. As always, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. Thank you.